and welcome to the very first GFCTV Lions Den. We'll be bringing you all the action and interviews from Guernsey FC's Isthmian League Division 1 South campaign and of course the FA Cup and FA Trophy. The season got underway on Saturday against Chipstead. Zico, the good ball over the top, Winch is in, the keeper comes out and heads it only as far as Yomi chips the keeper. What a goal! What a goal from Dominic Yomi, chipped the keeper from about 25 yards. That's the first goal of the season for GFC. Flicks it on to Luke Winch. Winch will keep this. Plays it back to Angus Mackay. Mackay looks for Dom Yome inside to Dave Rioy. No, Dave's just gone a little bit quiet in this second half so far. Yome wins it. Ball's spending a lot of time in the air at the moment. Now Chipstead have got it down. Langer comes forward, but it's weak in the challenge, and Luke Winch manages to win it. Here comes Dave Rioy at the back post. Can't quite get the ball under control, so Chipstead come away with it. Moody beats Jamie Dodd and comes forward after playing a 1-2 with the right back, Charles. Charles now getting on to the end of it, but Marm pushes him wide, gets across though, tries to turn, and it's an equaliser. That's a really soft goal. That's a really soft goal to concede. That's Quarty who's made it 1-1. It's a big old hoof over the top that was. Here's Alex the Provo. Here comes Will Tull now. Cuts inside into the captain. Gets it out of his feet. It's a good shot. It's a great goal. It's a great strike from Dan Moody. Good bit of skill to give himself some room, and it's a good shot past Cardiff. So Chipstead will come away with it again. The captain Moody will cross this in. Tell's got a chance. There's another great save from Tardif, but it's gone in. It's 3-1. It's a great save from Tardif the first time round, but unfortunately the ball fell to the Chipstead player. So Tony, 1-0 up at half time there, creating plenty of chances in the first half as well. You must be disappointed not to come away with something from the game.
Yeah, definitely, and it's our own fault, simple as that. First half we were very dominant. I think we must have got into their 18-yard box about sort of 20 times and only had 3 shots. So that's a terrible return, to be honest. And at 1-0, it's always going to be it's always going to give them something and put yourself on a tightrope. And when the game became a bit of a fight second half, and we sort of tried to match that and tried to join in. Which is not our style of football. It was always going to be a benefit to them, and at 1-0 you're always on a tightrope, as I said. But the game should have been put to bed in the first half, and that's the major problem why we lost this game.
And Chris Tardif as well, coming straight back into side and showing why as well today. He had a decent performance.
Yeah, he had some outstanding saves, but as I said in the first half, I think the number of times we got into their final third. We still had the same number of shots as them, and they barely touched the ball really, but when he called upon, obviously it's nice to have someone like Chris Tardif's ability there, and that's why he's so important to us. But unfortunately we had to rely on him to try and win us the game, and that's not good enough.
And it's been a busy pre-season, very different to last year. We had no games last year, we had a busy programme this year. Are you pleased with the way your preparations have gone?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, the style I wanted us to try and defend against and work against was pretty much the second half today, and so I thought that we might have put us in good stead for these sort of teams, but unfortunately it wasn't, and as I said, we've gone and lost the game because of that, and where we've let ourselves down is 1 in that area, but 2 just not being ruthless enough in front of goal, and so in the teams we played, we haven't had that many chances to score goals because they've been that much better than us. But we've had a pre-season campaign. It's got us a little bit of momentum, but it's not a great start, to be fair, when you've got aspirations to do well in this league, and we need to sort ourselves out basically.
And plenty of players in and around the squad, some new players too. Are you pleased with their integration? Not just the likes of Craig Young, but people like Miles Pengilly, who hasn't travelled today, and other players. How important is it that you've got a big squad this season?
Yeah, I think when you look at sort of pre-season, we didn't have any of our sort of 3 players of the years for the entire pre-season. So, for various reasons, and one of the key things is, and where we let ourselves down because of the commitment, if you like, and the issues of having to travel and logistic problems. It's important that we've got a number of players that can fill in and integrate within the squad seamlessly, and that's what I tried to deliver during pre-season to ensure we can do that. So if we're 4 or 5 people down, there's people who can just slot in and we'll understand that what is required. But so that's a positive. But today, unfortunately, the 14, 15 players we had should have been good enough to win the game, and they weren't.
And Wednesday night's your first game back at Foots Lane of the season. How important are the crowd at home to get behind the Green Lions? Yeah,
it's important. Yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be a few people with their daggers out and sort of smashing their keyboards today and thinking they know where it's wrong. But ultimately we've got to go out there and try and excite the crowd and try and get them lively. But it's also important that they can do that for us as well and help us. But irrespective of that, if we played like we did the second half, then I wouldn't clap us at all.
Not an ideal start to the season. Do you think we should have had it wrapped up by half time there?
Without a doubt, we were in control first half. I sat and observed that situation, and 23 chances we found ourselves in the final third, and we only got 3 shots off, and that isn't good enough. We've just briefly spoken about that. That's what wins you games of football. We could have been in at half time in a more comfortable position, and then you can scrap it out in the second half if you need to and deal with the fight, and any mistakes are you can afford to make if they do come along. Obviously, you try and avoid that situation. So ultimately, the first half, not being ruthless enough and not putting the ball in the back of the net and getting shots off has cost us today.
And pre-season in general, very different pre-season this year to last year. We didn't have any games last year. Had a pretty full programme this year. How did you think it went?
Yeah, it went well. It's important that we're getting pitch time during pre-season, and playing matches is vitally important. Today hasn't gone as we planned, but football doesn't always go exactly how you planned, and we've only got ourselves to blame in terms of the result today. And we're incredibly grateful for the fixtures we had over pre-season. I've made the club aware of that, and we've now got to move on very, very quickly, roll our sleeves up, and go into Wednesday's game at home.
And what about the new players or players that have come back and played a lot more and are committed, likes of Craig Young? I know Miles Pengilly's a new one, Luke Winch as well, playing a bit more. Is it good to see some more players around the place?
Yeah, it's fantastic. We needed a big squad if we're going to be successful. It's as simple as that. In terms of their commitment, they're new to the group, and I don't think we can comment on their commitment until we get to April, and we see how committed they are for a full season. And we're going to need everyone. If we're to be successful as a club and as a team, everyone needs to play their part, and that means when they're rotated, they get on with it. When they're not playing, they just deal with it, and when they are playing, they play their part in trying to achieve success with us. So it's really, really important. I'm delighted they're involved with us, but we will judge on how they're involved with us come the end of the season, and I hope they're together and they're with us, and I'm sure that they want to be with us.
And what about this season? What's your big goals personally and also for the club? What do you think we can do?
I've said it straight up. We know this league after a season in it. I believe we're good enough to get promoted, and the easiest way is to finish at the top. It's as simple as that. But we've got to improve as a group in terms of the first half performance today and the way we finish teams off. And if we're not in a position where we finish teams off, we need to be better in the second half in terms of the way we deal with the situation. So one goal's never enough in a game. Unfortunately, it's cost us in the past, and we need to learn better, and we need to finish teams off, and that will get us progress.
Tomorrow night, Guernsey FC will play Whiteleaf, who have just been promoted to the division. But the Green Lions have played the Leaf before in the FA Vars in 2011. Dom Yome opened the scoring before Ross Allen struck at close range. And he then put GFC 3-0 up before half-time with a fine individual effort. Whiteleaf did get 2 back in the second half, but Tony Vance's men held on. There'll be a totally different side tomorrow night though, so it should be an interesting encounter. So don't forget, you can see the live stream tomorrow night from 7:45 to see if Guernsey FC can get their first win of the season. The highlights will be available on the website on Thursday. For now, it's goodbye from us.